Shabbat Shalom. Good morning, listeners. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Hour of Restoration, coming to you live from Amsterdam every Sabbath morning from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. You can follow us live on our Facebook page, The Hour of Restoration, also on our YouTube channel, and also listen to us via High Radio. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram for our weekly updates. So last week we concluded the theme Power of Confession. We have looked at what confession is, the power of it in itself, and last week we also discussed how to remove the obstacles. This week we will start with a brand new theme, Pastors According to My Own Heart, and we will start with the prophet Samuel, so stay tuned. And as usual, we will start today with a table talk. We will discuss the power of confession, and afterwards we will dive into the word of wisdom with our preacher man for today. So stay tuned. After a few minutes, we will start with the table talk. So once again, good morning, listener. Shabbat Shalom. This is the Hour of Restoration. Today we will discuss our brand new theme, Pastors According to Our Own Heart. But the last 2 weeks we discussed the power of confession. And I have two of my own brothers seated in front of me. So let's dive into the table talk. Brother Apoka, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Like a Hebrew shit.
Is your main slogan, eh?
Yes, it got its times, but I'm feeling good. The sun is shining. We are still alive. And we are still surviving.
Yeah, exactly. And that's so much to be grateful for. And Brother Shalom.
Also doing fine. Yeah, I'm quote his words. Why not?
Rephrase it a little bit. Rephrase it a little bit. But how's your week been so far?
Yeah, I work from home. I didn't step out the door much.
Oh, the entire week?
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe one day at the office. So for the rest, fine.
How did you guys survive the weather? Because it was quite hot.
I wasn't that much outside, so I could.
Yeah, but inside.
But you can. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but maybe not everyone knows how to survive this weather. There are many things. We also discussed it on our Instagram live, right? Like what was it called again? Something with summer temptations. If you did not watch that Instagram live, go onto our Instagram page.
I thought you were talking about the sun itself.
No, like I'm talking about
heat.
hot weather.
Oh, you're talking about another heat.
Yeah. No, but it's good to hear that both of you are fine. You guys are shining, two brothers. So very good to see you.
How are you doing?
How am I doing? I'm doing fine. Yeah, fine. Everything is okay. Everything is going well. So nothing to complain about. So yeah, that. And thank you for asking, by the way. So today we will discuss, of course, the power of confession. Before we actually start, I already told you, before we go into the meat of the message, we will discuss a little bit how it's going in general. So my question to you, Shalom, is how would you describe your relationship with Elohim at the moment, and why?
Hoe zou ik het zeggen? I will use yours. I don't have words as in I will use sentences. But basically, like standing in a place and then it's my time basically to reach out the more. That's more how I would see it basically. And it's more... Hoe zou ik het zeggen? Yeah, after there are two items. So basically there's one item here on the left, there's another item on the right. And most of the time, mostly think van, it's time for Elohim to draw near, near. But then I think now it's also time for me then also to draw near rather to him. Because as I saw that, if I look at my life, I think in the past of this year, I had a lot of changes happened.
Yeah.
And then you can come to a point wherein you will just go on, working mode. You will just be on one. You just focus on things to be done. And then because of that, then you can, it's come to a point that you might not spend as much time as you wanted to be to have to be with Elohim. So then, when everything is now a bit at peace, then it's also time for, okay, why did you spend so much time to achieve this, but you did not spend that much time for Elohim? So it's not fair. So now I also have to also put the same effort in how I was working for all these things, also to put it also in
pursue Elohim. So. And is that something you only do or try to find when everything is at peace, at rest? Because what I hear, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's because there were so many things going on that you maybe lost track a little bit of Elohim or spending time with him?
Yes.
Yeah. And so my question is that something you can only do when you're at peace, when everything is at rest, or is it something you should train yourself into develop?
No, it's more also to divide your time. Because it's not that totally not, it's less. And indeed I also have to develop how to do it with when you have 5 or things or 6 things or 2 or 1. It shouldn't affect your time. And also like what the brother always says, that Elohim should be your time. So it have to be the opposite. So that is also something that I have to develop.
Okay, so are you overall satisfied, or just something you're not really satisfied at this moment? It's something you really want to change, for example?
No. just
Yeah,
just doing what I'm doing. So that's going good.
It was a long phase. I was like,
Yeah, I
no,
was like,
no.
just keep the things that I'm doing right now. So that's
Okay. Good to hear. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And Brother APC, how would you describe your relationship with Elohim at the moment, and why?
I'm in the point. I messed up, and I have to prove him that I'm worthy of him. To be in a relationship with him, and it's going with ups and downs.
Yeah.
And I have to do much more. It's no more words but action. You know, when you messed up in a relationship and you've been saying sorry, and the partner will be like, okay, when it comes to word, I've hate you, I've accepted, but now prove it. So that's where I am now. I'm not satisfied. I want to get better. Overcoming my weaknesses and prove Elohim that I'm worthy to be a part of a part of the relationship with him. And that's how I see it now.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. I think it's also important for those at home listening and watching. It's not most people's relationship, and some, really have to work on it or to grow in it, and it's not always easy. And I think, and I hope also that is something that people will start to realize. Sometimes you come to the faith and you're just so enthusiastic and so motivated, and then reality hits.
Maybe
and
the
then,
first 2 days.
Yeah, exactly. And then reality hits, and it can discourage a person to the point that they leave the faith, right? So thank you for sharing that. And okay, let's move on to the topic of last week, power of confession. Overall, right? What did you learn from the theme as a whole, and how do you plan to apply it? So I'll start with you, Shalom. What did you learn from the theme, the power of confession?
It is a message which has been repeated many times, and it's good to be remembered. The power of confession. I think also the main thing which also helped me was also the 4 things which you will never be forgiven if you will not confess. Because sometimes we keep things for ourselves. Komt goed. Between you and Elohim. But there are also some things. Man, you are doomed if you will not share it. So I think that really stick to me. But the overall theme, it's good to make things practical. And that is really good to repeat.
That was something that really came forward. They really gave steps on how to move forward. And my follow-up question then is, how do you plan to apply this in your own life? It's
really funny because I think this week we were even calling. We didn't realize we were just calling, just talking, and so, and we also refer to the teaching for man. If you really want to come closer to Elohim and do things, it's rather those practical things that we have to do, to be disciplined, having a plan for yourself, basically adjusting your habits or replace them. So and one of the things I'm doing more often is also to really focus on what are my habits, as in my downfalls. I think I have something that I'm easily at ease. Dat ik kan gewoon dagen niks doen.
A little complacent, I think. But continue. You just.
I can just do nothing. And then, but then I also want to say, no. That's not how you ought to live life. So then, basically, replace that with something. So basically, then, for instance, having for myself something to read always, because then it's also, I can also do it in my relaxing state, but then still something, I'm getting fed by something. So that is, I'm really into it right now, and it's going better. And I also realized, the teaching also add that up onto me. So
good to hear that through self-reflection, that is something that you noticed about yourself. I think it's also something that a lot of fellow believers and brothers and sisters struggle with, to just be at ease. Oh, komt wel. I'll do it tomorrow. End of the week, you still did not do it, so it's hard. And now, Brother APC, what is something that you learned from the theme, the power of confession?
Now, my plan was to study them today.
Yeah.
Because the past 2 weeks I was very occupied, so I didn't have the time to really listen to it.
Yeah.
And I don't want that just to listen for the sake of listening, but more to take time to also study what you have heard. So I was planning today to listen to it. So, yes, but from the conversation that I had with the brother, and it lays very, very in the practical, what do you call it, your practical doings on a daily basis. Yeah, so the things that I've heard from the brother, it will help me, and ik ben nieuwsgierig.
Yeah.
I will listen it today, both of them, and I will take my time to study it.
Good mindset. Yes. Being curious, it can help you and it can kill you.
It can help you and can kill yourself.
The truth is a double-edged sword. It cuts and it heals.
Yeah. So that's really good to hear. I think the topic or the theme in itself just added a lot. I think it's something we all need to grow and develop in, but also something that needs to happen more in the assemblies. You don't really see it happen, and if it happens, maybe in your room or they don't necessarily speak about it, and that is when sin can go on and go on and go on until it maybe corrupts even the entire assembly. So there's certainly power in confession. I myself found the theme also very interesting. I had the same thing as Shalom. I was started to reflect on myself, like, okay, are there certain habits or mannerisms that I tend to do? And something that I had to laugh about, the minister mentioned it last week when he spoke about, for example, the example of his mother, that when she would speak on the
sauce. You have a sauce before?
And no, but not for sure like that, right? But sometimes I notice that, okay, you're talking and then either you're too excited or then you're starting to exaggerate and like, oh, wait. Then I have to backtrack from, okay, weet je, rustig. Keep the story gewoon simple. So I recognize myself in that. So that's something that I was trying to reflect on, and so many other things. So people at home, let us know what are things that you noticed within yourself, certain habits, maybe certain addictions. Know that you can just send us a message or also place it in the comment section, and maybe we can discuss it here live. So back to the topic of the power of confession, and especially removing obstacles, right? So I will start with, I am reading, for example, a book at the moment. It also links to this topic. It's called Hungry Spirits, in Dutch Hongerige Geesten. And it is about the addiction, the psychology behind addiction. So what happens in the mind and why people are addicted. And one question that is posed in the book is, for example, the question that we should ask people. Should we look more at the question, why are you addicted? Or why are you, do you want to do this or want to do that? Or should we ask, what are you escaping from? Why are you in pain? Because that is what drives a lot of people to seek that ease. So, Brother APC, if I ask you, what is the better question to ask? What should we focus on?
And asking. Asking all type of questions. Because there is no need of pain to be addicted. There is no need of struggles to be addicted or to reach out to certain things that will lead you to addiction. You can also be so comfortable that you enjoy life and you enjoy a little bit too much and you get caught up in it. So what I do in my work as a social worker, keep asking people, why? Just the why questions. And for some, you can ask him, why do you use it? Maybe he will have difficult to explain, but if you ask him about his past, and how he was raised, and you will get the answer for yourself. Because it is not easy for many people that are addicted to pinpoint exactly where it comes from. Because it can, maybe there was a time that there was a reason that they were using it. Scripture tells us, gives the one that has heavy heart something to drink. But after your problems are solved, but you still drink it, then it will be a different. So that's why just ask, keep asking questions, and that is what we need. The person also need. For if you ask them, why do you smoke? That question.
Exactly. Just because you'll probably get just because. But if you continue to,
if you keep asking, hey, how is your financial going? How is your health going? How do you feel now? What do you want? What are you planning? Maybe it's because of the thing that he wants to get and he doesn't get it. The road to get there cause him to use it. So there are many things. Just
hope deferred, make it the heart sick.
And if you ask the question, from what pain are you running away? Is that also good?
Yeah, you can also ask, because some people run away from pain, but the thing is, pain is always not, it doesn't have to be involved to do it.
It is an option. It's not necessarily the reason always, but
I don't get it.
For example, you have people like who are successfll. They are working on the office. They get good pay. They
then they use cocaine.
But they still use it. And if you go to the therapist and all those stuff, the ones that you will find there are most of the time people that are successful, because they can afford to pay the therapist. Those that are broke, you will see them on the Salvation, the Leger des Heils. They will get their treatments there. But the majority that goes to the psychologist, they are stable. And if you look at them, you ask them, why do it? You have house, you are married, you have school, you are running away from nothing. So there is a time that pain was involved, but after that.
Okay. I get you, but it's not all that meets the eye. People that have it all together, they have a house, a lot of times they're, for example, quite messed up from the inside. It's just you don't see it because of what they have, right?
But that's why I find it interesting, because that then from maybe in the beginning there was pain. And then maybe later on it has turned into something, a habit. And then they don't remember again the pain, but they just remember the habit still. They still remember the habit. Or maybe what you said, people are also having having a mask. Some people they also have masks. Maybe achter gesloten deuren. It's a serious program.
I wanted to say you were watching that.
I was about to say I've never watched one. I was just some snippets. I was like, wow. I thought about problems, man.
People are messed up.
People are having problems, man.
That's true, because the reason why I'm also asking, apart from the book, is that the minister also touched upon that last week. He said that humans, we cannot deal with pain, so they find a way to have a certain reward, for example. So, and for a lot of people, I don't know how to deal with this, let me smoke, and then I'm at ease, and the ease is the reward for them. But what leads them to smoking is that chaos or something. And that's why I was asking, should we focus more on really the addiction in itself, or that which triggers the addiction, right? So
because when it comes to addiction, many people they tend to look at only the drugs and the alcohol. But the addiction is very bright, because where I work, you have people that are addicted on the most things that you will not even imagine they are addiction of that. There are people that they cannot go outside. They have to close the door 3 times before they go outside. You have people that are addicted to all kinds of stuff. For example, I work also in a place of people that do art, but their mindset is addicted to all types of stuff. They cannot throw things away. They have behavior, what the preacher man have explained, according to your words. It has reached a certain point. They seek for a reward, or something. is much bigger. The rabbit hole is much bigger than people can think about it. But you will get a better picture by just asking why, and it's much bigger than we think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's oftentimes it's also a little bit of limited indeed. Yet we focusing on alcohol, on drugs, and maybe sex, but also the things that you said, that OCD. I can remember watching a clip like a person could not go out unless this needs to be laid like this. You need to check this, then go outside. It's like it's very difficult for that person to break free from that. And that is also maybe a form of an addiction. And my next question then is, Shalom, for you, the understanding, maybe for the listeners at home was not clear, but what is the difference between an addiction and a habit?
Basically, I think to explain habit is more easier to start off with habit, because habit is something you do it over and over and over, and you just do it without thinking. I think when there are of course many books about it, like the Atomic Habit or the Power of Habit. Most of what they say is that there is a cue, a routine, and then a reward. So when when you're in a situation, for example, which example should I give? When you're feeling when you're feeling tired, when you're feeling tired, then that's the cue for you for, okay, now I'm going to do something. I don't know what I'm going to do. Then people then they shift to Netflixing, for example. And then from Netflixing, they get a reward from finally I'm doing something. So when that line is always being triggered in your brain, then it's like for you. Then it's for you. Okay, whenever I feel tired, I will just do Netflixing. That's really a habit. And then he also gave a definition about addiction. It's also when you come to the point when you even come to self-destructive. So it's how when it's being you're not realizing the impact of the danger that you're doing, and you just leave everything. It doesn't matter. Like some people who will do some pokering, or who will just go and sell their whole house, knowing that they have a family. They're not their decision mechanism. Is basically unstable.
Very clear difference between addiction and habit. I hope it's also clear for you guys at home. And then maybe on to a more personal question. If you want to respond or give an answer, that is up to you. It's not a must. But my question then to you, Apoka, is have you dealt with addictions or habits that were difficult to break?
Not all. For myself personally, I don't separate both habits and addiction. I call habit an addiction a bad habit. It's
a bad habit.
And also, some I have broke, but some I'm still struggling with. For when we talk about bad habit, it is what Shalom say. You have to really look at yourself, reflect from which habits are good, which habits are not good. And that's the point where I'm now. I'm trying to overcome those the Goliaths. Let me say the ones that are the big ones to overcome. I come from a bottom with a lot of addictions, bad habits. And the environment where you also live, the period of your life where you are, and where you are going to. And a lot I have conquered, some I'm still struggling with. And and I hope in the future I will overcome it all. But when I look at myself and where I came from and where I'm now, where I'm standing, and I'm doing better. Let me say it like that.
You're progressing. That is what we want to hear. That is what we want to hear. You don't have to be there immediately, but you are progressing and trying, and that is worthy of respect and mentioning.
I think that's also the essence of life, right? How just do some always
Do
be 1%
something,
better
yeah.
than the day before.
Do something.
They have
Yeah,
compound
yeah.
interest, and it is just every time you will be just a better person if you just focus on it for a year.
Exactly.
So,
To just continue. Yeah. And
it is very hard. It is
yeah.
very hard, especially that's why I always say to people that struggling with this, don't use that word anymore, addiction, for yourself to overcome it, because it will haunt you on many ways. Because you would think, I'm drinking, I'm smoking, let me over stop with them, but there are actually more things attached to it. For example, because you are smoking and drinking, now you have become like, you cannot be consistent on your word. You cannot get on point with je kan niet op afspraken komen. You cannot save money. A lot of bad behaviors comes from those.
It opened doors for many other problems.
Those things. It will bring a lot of things with you, and what people then think, oh, when I stop smoking or drinking, all these kind of small stuff will stop. No, they will still remain there, and that's why I say it's a behavior stuff. Look at which behavior came from it, because you were smoking and now you start to eat a lot. You stop smoking, you still have to deal with the habit of eating a lot, which you didn't have before you start to use it. Now you use it, you have it. So there are a lot of things that we have to overcome, especially when it comes to the behavior stuff.
Because behavior is a part of your character, and character is not something that you can change within. The ministers often say it as well. You cannot change it in 1, 2, 3 years. It has literally become a part of you. So you have to
relearn, unlearn.
Yeah, exactly. Or what the scripture says, literally renew your mind. Really make those. The minister mentioned what happens in the brain, right? The new connections, the new pathways. That is what the Bible speaks about, renewing your mind, so that becomes part of your behavior. But it is not easy, because that learned behavior is an automatic response. Now you have to do things that go against the automatic response. It often feels like you're fighting yourself, literally, at that moment. Oh, this is the response, but I want to do this, and that is very, very challenging. It's very hard to overcome that, for example. And Shalom, are there? Yeah, I wouldn't say.
Because. Oh, sorry.
Do you remember the question?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, I wanted to ask it again. Yeah.
One of them was by foremost masturbation. I remember times, and you would even utter words van.
Hey. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Keep your hands low, guys. don't do anything. Yeah.
You remember times that I ga de week niet doen. I will not do it at all anymore. And it is that was really difficult, because then you look at some people, they just said, okay, I will not do it anymore, and then they stopped.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
I said, no, this power is too strong. But then I realized, toch certain things is also habits, also to confess. I remember the first time I confessed it, I was like, it's like your face will fall off, your whole world will shatter, you'll be like,
what have I been doing?
Yeah. And then lust also came into it. You think, lust. And then you want to, you thought that you want to keep yourself what you can, and you say, "Name, I will keep." But then there were certain cues, which that's why I really like cues or triggers, which were always waiting for me to do that. Yeah. It's a really fun thing, because what I had is also after I masturbated, I always wanted to eat dinner.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, huh? I didn't know why.
Yeah.
But then I start, and the reason why I'm saying this is because then I started also to study the brain, because I always find the brain always interesting. How does that come, and the triggers, and then the rewards and all these things. And then I realized, okay, wait, you know what? I will change one thing. I will change the quote unquote the dinner part. That I will not eat dinner after. And then I realized I realized I have the capacity within me to change it. Yeah. And then then slowly but sure, then you're like, "Yeah, man, no, man, I am powerful."
Yes.
Yeah,
Power.
man. So that's also really like the quote of brother Chris likes last week said, "Yeah, man, are you not like gods? How fun? Talk.
Hey,
You
you're
have
a
you have
god.
the capacity within you to change things." And then I start realizing, I really have to work on these things. And one practical thing that I mostly learned also from the scientists and so what they say is that mostly there are three things to learn an old habit. My hands, sorry. to change an old habit is easier to learn a new habit.
Okay, explain. Yeah,
because most of the time they are, as I said, there are certain triggers and cues and rewards attached to a habit, right? But if you tweak one of the three stages, some information you already have it, so it's easier to link that information in your brain to another part of it. So for example, what I had is then also before or after I changed my perception from after masturbating, it's no more a reward, it's something bad. And then op een gegeven moment you can have an afkeer towards it, and I realized from no, man, it's not good, stop it. And then it also, because then you're changing the rewarding part of it, and because the information is already there and being known. So then the first time, so when there's a trigger comes, you'll be like, no, man, this reward doesn't give me the benefit to do it, so why would I do it? So yeah, man, I also really find it interesting to realize that, hey, I can tweak on myself and my habits and so.
Yeah. Very, very important and very clear from both of you. It's you really have to find something in that line or sequence of actions that you can change. And when you start with that, then you will see that the behavior will become different. I noticed for myself also when I really focused on hating the sin, or I think it's also sometimes mentioned in the Psalms, I hate every wicked way, or David often says he hates sin, really asking for that to not be comfortable with it. That is when I really started to put more effort into, okay, stay away from this, don't do this, don't do that. It really had to change my my perception. Otherwise, the sin for me would be like,
it's normal. It's okay.
Yeah, it's normal. It's part of it. And I also recognize...
We are all sinners.
Yeah, we are all
I cannot be perfect.
The sinner's prayer.
The sinner's prayer. I'm not perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So it is hard, even with the habits. It's something that I even dealt with, for example, this year, that I noticed that when I was uncomfortable or maybe in pain or sorrow, I had the tendency to seek something to consume it. And it could be Netflix, for example. It could be shopping. Then I would just scroll. I'd just throw everything in my basket, and then I would order. And then afterwards, I'm like, okay, wait, why did you do that? I had it slightly with food as well, that I would just fast food. I really wanted to eat fast food. But after a while, I also had to train myself in, okay, maybe you feel this unease or this pain or discomfort. Prolong the time between what you are feeling or sensing and what you want to do. So just tell yourself, not now. Okay, fast food, maybe somewhere this week, but not now. And like trying to prolong that has really helped me in having a little bit more self-control in that area. I had so many more questions because this topic you can speak about for hours and hours. We're of course moving on to our new theme, which is Pastors According to My Own Heart. And we'll start with speaking about Samuel. Very short. What do you hope to expect, Brother Poka?
I have no expectation now. I'm entering with a free, open mind.
Okay. Good. You know the story of Samuel, I hope, I assume.
Knowing the minister, he can always come from
different
angles.
So, that is really true. And you, Shalom?
Yeah, same.
Yeah?
Okay. I think, of course, the team would say it. So let's see how Samuel was and good example, or maybe he wasn't a good example.
Yeah.
Maybe he also had his flaws.
Exactly.
And also have his
I expect
Exactly. we are going to see in the word of wisdom in a few minutes. Thank you guys. Thank you, Brother Apokaver. Thank you, Shalom, for also sharing what you are going through yourselves. I hope it helps and also motivates those who are at home. So stay tuned. We will be back in a few short minutes, and then we will dive into the word of wisdom with our preacher man for today, Brother Chris. Thank you very much.
Yes, so shalom, shalom unto all of our listeners and viewers, wheresoever that you may find yourself. For those that are tuned in now, and for those that will tune in later, we thank Elohim for yet another day that He has given unto us. So that we may at least try to amend our ways before Him, before it is everlasting too late. I'm hearing an echo, so I don't know where that is coming from.
Could you speak a little bit more into the mic?
In the mic.
Yeah.
In the mic.
Mm-hmm.
Like this.
Yeah.
Why?
And it's a little bit more clear for our listeners.
Okay, but I'm hearing an echo. I don't know if it's...
No, that was the speaker, but it's fine.
Okay. I'm still hearing something, but I don't know why. Okay, so we thank Elohim for yet another opportunity that He has given unto us to be able to find ourselves on this side of existence. Hello? Oh, it's coming from my YouTube was playing on the background. Wow. Wow. So I was hearing myself double. So, okay, it's sorted. So yes, so we third time's a charm. We thank Elohim for yet another opportunity that He has granted unto us to be able to be on this side of existence. The wise preacher man said that as long as one is alive, you still have the potential to be more precious and valuable than one who once was a lion and that is now dead. Because Elohim has placed in all of mankind the potential to make something out of his own life. And just like the brothers were talking, I really enjoyed their intervention. You know, sometimes there are some people, when they have been reading, you can tell. And you can tell that Shalom has been reading. He used this word, a compound effect. I haven't heard him use that word before. So I was like, yeah, he has been reading. And then as for our brother APC, you can tell that he's experienced in this. Mm-hmm. As they say in French, expérimenté, meaning he has gone through things, and you can just hear it from what he is sharing. That's why I even told Brit that maybe take a longer time today so that they can share. And we are grateful unto Elohim that they have been open to share these things. Because the truth is that all of us are addicted to something. As I even said last week, it's not a bad thing to be addicted. The bad thing is usually that when we say addicted, we always use or talk about the negative things that we are addicted to. But as we said, it is a coping mechanism and it's a habit that is formed. There are some people that have trained themselves whenever they go through bad things, they stop eating and maybe they go into prayer. That is also formed. There are some people, they have trained themselves whenever they stand in front of a conflict, they just shut their mouths. It has become a habit. Sometimes people tell me, hey ma, iedere keer when you get upset, you just walk away. Yes, it's good that I walk away. Because if I am to stay and confront you, sometimes out of anger, you can say things or can do things that you will regret. But when you are dealing with a situation that is heated, I think it's a better habit to just keep quiet or walk away. So it's not usually bad to have certain habits. Just try to make sure you have developed the right habits. You know, David said, in the days of my distress, I call out. So there are some people that when things become rough, they either stop eating and maybe they say, okay, I will close myself off. I will seek the face of Elohim. So there are many ways that we cope. So maybe try to think of that also and just implement those things inside of your own pattern. So just to answer that, everyone is addicted to something. Just make sure the question is to what are you addicted to? That is maybe the thing. And also, like the brother rightfully said, just you can trade that word with habits formed. And then the beautiful thing that the brother really said was how we always focus on one thing, not realizing that usually many of us, there is one thing that you usually do that opens the floodgates to all other bad habits or behavior.
Yeah.
So if you can keep the lid on that one, you will see that all the other encompassing or all the other bad things that you do will subside because you've stopped that head sin, if I can properly call it like that. So these are things that we really have to keep in mind, and we all are struggling with certain things, because to live a disciplined life is not always easy. That's why sometimes I look at people that have really dedicated themselves to, let's say, a sport or a profession. Those are people that know what it means to be disciplined. Because we all sometimes we look at Michael Jordan and maybe Cristiano Ronaldo, and some people like them, others don't like them. But there is a certain appeal to their character simply because they have learned how to lay down everything in order to reach their goal. To the point where they have become maniacs. So everything they eat, they drink, the time they go to sleep, how many times they invest in their body, everything has been put in place only to help them achieve their goal. And the funny thing is, that is why even Shaul, when he was comparing this life of the faith, he compared it to an athlete. And the reason why he did that is because he wanted to highlight the importance of discipline when it comes to obtaining this crown of life. Because he said, even all of us, we houden een wedloop, we are running a marathon. And all of us want to achieve a crown or reward at the end of the race. But how many people are willing to live that disciplined life? And it is so extremely difficult, especially in this day and age where everything is at your disposal. What can you not do in 2022? What is it that you cannot do in 2022? You can do everything and more. So to constrain yourself, if it is not mercy coming from Elohim, then I don't know. That is why the Messiah was so bold to make the statement that this generation, he said, even the greatest prophets of old will not be comparable to one saint that can make it in our days and time. Mm-hmm. Because the madness we are going through, if Isaiah the prophet would run from Jerusalem, because he said there was sin there, and he ran into the mountains to the point where he even despised meat, and he was only eating bitter herbs up a mountain. So I think if he was living in this day and age, he would commit suicide.
Yep.
So just imagine you and I, we're just walking around. I don't know, man. I don't know what we are doing here, why. Because sometimes you just, when you're reflecting, you're like, this place is too much.
Yeah.
One slip up, one bad day, and the damage that you can cause. Name, man. It's difficult. It's difficult. That is why maybe in order to keep our spirits up, don't immediately try to look for perfection. There's no perfection in this day and age. Mm-hmm. As the brother said, use the law of compound effect. So the way I was yesterday, if I compare it to today, am I progressing? Mm-hmm. If you don't live like that, you will be discouraged and you will just stop. Because if you ought to take a microscope and look at your behavior, the things you sometimes think, the way you behave like a beast sometimes, you will just be like, no, man, I quit. I quit. That's why Elohim would look and be like, hey, my grace is sufficient. So as for you, just try to abide by what I've written down, mm-hmm. and keep doing your best. Mm. Keep doing your best. Cry out unto Elohim daily for mercies, because it is not easy. So we will keep on pushing, as we always have kept on pushing, because Babylon is mad. The world is mad. I don't think there is one single sane person in Europe. None. So we are pushing, and we are just hoping for the grace and the mercy of the Almighty. Because of time, let's deal with the topic at hand. I think you are sharing the screen already. So we are at page 1. Samuel the prophet. And the topic is pastors according to my own heart. So we will take some instances from the life of Samuel, and we will see how Elohim chooses a servant, and we will see how such a servant ought to behave. And then we will look at our own day and time to draw certain conclusions with regards to who are the chosen vessels of Elohim. How does Elohim select one? And how many of these shepherds or chosen ones are there really found in our day and time? And then we will look at our own life to understand what it means to be a shepherd according to the heart of Elohim. And this will be something that is interesting for both the sheep and the shepherds, so that we may look at where we are, how far we have fallen, and how we can get back into the will and the grace of the Most High. So, next slide. Wow, I didn't even write. Yeah, we will go to some reading because it's live. So this is First Samuel. Wow. This is First Samuel. First Samuel chapter 1 verse 1.
Now there was a certain man of Ramat Zophim of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jehoram, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuph, an Ephrathite. And he had 2 wives.
How many wives did he have?
He had 2 wives.
Wow. And this is your Bible, eh? Continue, please.
The name of the one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peninnah. And
So the name of one was Hannah, and the other was Peninnah.
And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. And this man went up out of his city yearly.
So he had 2 wives. One was with child or had children, and the other had no children. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And this man went out of his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto Yah of hosts in Shiloh. And the 2 sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priest of Yah, were there. And when the time was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peninnah his wife and to all her sons and daughters portions. But Hannah he gave a worthy portion.
But Hannah, the one that had no children,
He gave
he gave.
a worthy portion.
So he did not beat her or mistreat her or call her a witch or accuse her saying, you want to destroy my legacy, you're an enemy of my progress. So he gave the one that had no children
A worthy portion.
a worthy portion.
For he loved
He did
Hannah.
not accuse her of being a witch. Go ahead.
But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion. For he loved Hannah.
For he loved Hannah.
But Yah had shut up her womb.
Who?
But Yah had shut up her womb.
Is this still your Bible? So it's not saying, and there was a witch under a bridge in Lake Akosombo who would go into the night and take Hannah's womb and bring it under the sea, as these prophets nowadays would say. All credit is always due unto Yah,
But Yah had
because
shut up
this
her womb.
is not the book of Satan. This is the book of Yah, the main one that is in charge, the one that everything runs and turns about or is about is Yah. So when good things happen, when bad things happen, every person that is of Yah will not even think about Satan. You will say like, hey, I'm becoming too fat. There was this prophet, he became too fat to the point where his stomach became so big. So when his stomach became big, do you know what this prophet did? He went to Yah and he asked him like, what is happening? Why am I becoming so fat? And then Yah told him, look at your eating pattern. You're always going on conferences thinking that you are the Superman, and you will always eat late around 2 in the night. And now you're asking me why your stomach is fat. So there was no witch in nothing. So even to the point where if you become too skinny or too fat, you can ask Yah. And usually when he asks Yah, he will look at you and he will be like, don't you have common sense? Don't you have common sense? Yeah, my breath stinks. There are some people, they only brush their teeth in the morning. When it's time to sleep, they don't brush their teeth. And then when they wake up the morning after, they have dragon breath. And you're like, hey, my mouth stinks. Try to brush your teeth before sleeping. And then when you wake up, feel your breath, you will see it stinks less. You become weighty. There is no Satan. It's just common sense. So these people, they say the Bible commentary, it gives a commentary and says it is Yah that closed her womb. No Satan there. Read.
Verse 5. For he loved Hannah, but Yah had shut up her womb. And her adversary also provoked her sore, for to make her fret, because Yah had shut up her womb.
And her adversary was vexing her because once again, Yah closed her womb. Go ahead.
And as he did so year by year, when she went up to the house of Yah, so she provoked her. Therefore she wept and did not eat. Then said Elkanah her husband to her, Hannah, why weepest thou? And why eatest thou not? And why is thy heart grieved? Am not I better to thee than 10 sons? So Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon a seat by a post of the temple of Yah, and she was in bitterness of soul and prayed unto Yah and wept sore.
She was in bitterness of soul. The Bible says, a contrite and a broken spirit, Yah will never reject. She was in bitterness of soul, and she was crying unto the Most High. She was so desperate, but even in her desperation, not even once did she think of going to a fetish priest. But that is the mindset today. We say, yeah, the gifts of Yah, they take too long. Satan is quick.
Yeah.
So you try one time, 2 months, 1 year with Yah, it's not working. And then people begin whispering, hey, I know this man. He has these herbs. Let's go to Africa. And what many people do nowadays, so-called all of them live in the capital cities of the African countries. They live in Accra or Kinshasa, whatever. So when they go on holidays, they will go to the capital cities, but maybe they will plan 2 or 2 trips to their village. And when they will go to their village, they will go and they will visit a fetish priest. Fetish priest, what have you come here to do? I came for protection. I came because my womb is defect. I need children. And then they will do all types of sacrifices. But as for this woman, yearly she went to the temple in Shiloh. And when she went to the temple, she went and cried unto Yah in bitterness. Go ahead.
And she was in bitterness of soul and prayed unto Yah and wept sore.
And she prayed unto Yah and she wept.
Verse 11. And she vowed a vow.
And then she vowed a vow.
And said,
O
Yah of hosts.
O Yah of hosts.
If thou will indeed look on the affliction of thine handmaid.
If you will look upon me and see how I am suffering, because I have no children.
And remember me.
And if you will remember me.
And not forget thine handmaid.
And please don't forget me.
But will give unto thy handmaid a man child.
But if you will give me a man child.
Then I will give him unto Yah.
Then I will return him to you.
All the days of his life.
So look at her tone of voice. And look at her mode. And her mindset when she came to Yah. Was she commanding or was she pleading and begging? What was her mindset?
Begging.
She was humble.
Yeah.
She was pleading. She was begging. And apart from that, she was also looking at the benefit of Yah in this equation. But compare it to our day and time. How many mentions of the devil did she make in her prayer? Not once. Not once. But if it was our day and time, our mothers, our sisters, our fathers, we would go and we would pray and we would say, Elohim, the witch Penina has stolen my womb. Now I command by lightning and fire to strike Penina down. In 3 days' time, I want Penina to die.
Die by fire.
This would be the prayer of the modern day Christian woman. There would be no respect to the angels. There would be no respect to Yah. They would go around and they would fire Penina. We destroy Penina's house. We destroy Penina's children. We sent lightnings and fire and thunder and we destroy her heritage. Let her seed be spoiled. Let her business collapse. So ask yourself, are you a serial killer? Or are you a child of Elohim?
Fire. Yeah.
But look at the way Hannah was praying. She went to Yah and said, Elohim,
If
you will have compassion,
if thou will indeed look upon the affliction of thine handmaid,
look at how I am serving. She took it personal. Look at how I am suffering.
and remember me,
And please remember me.
and not forget thine handmaid,
And do not forget me.
but will give unto thine handmaid a man child.
But please, Satan did not take anything because you are the boss. You are the one who gives and takes. So if you will give me a servant, a son,
then I will give him unto Yah
then I will return him to you
all the days of his life.
all the days of,
His life.
go ahead,
And there shall no razor come upon his head.
and I will make him a Nazarite. Go ahead.
And it came to pass as she continued praying before Yah that Eli marked her mouth. Now Hannah, she spake in her heart, only her lips moved.
That's just to show you that she was not binding witches. Have you ever seen someone bind a witch in silence? No. When you are committing the prayer of warfare, you have to shout like me.
Yeah.
You have to shout. But the heart, sincere prayers of sorrow are usually the ones where there are tears coming, but you cannot even talk. These are prayers where your heart is so heavy, all you can do is sigh. And it's at those moments where Elohim is so close to you because he can feel your pain. That is what Hannah was doing. To the point where Eli saw it. Go ahead.
Now verse 13. Now Hannah, she spake in her heart, only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken.
Therefore Eli thought
She had been drunken.
Eli was disconnected. His sons were disconnected. That is why when Hannah came and saw the condition of the temple of Shiloh, he looked at the condition of Eli. And as she was trying to pass by the temple, these two sons of Eli even tried to seduce her. She was like, no. Elohim is in need of a prophet. So she thought about her own interest and she thought about the interest of Elohim. And then she came to Elohim and said, Elohim, I need something, but you also need something. So give me or remove my shame and I will give you a prophet in return. So with her prayer, she thought about the need of Elohim and her need. And where these two things met, that is where her prayers were answered. Go ahead, read.
And Eli said unto her in verse 14, How long wilt thou be drunken? Put away thy wine from thee. And Hannah answered and said, No, my master, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my soul before Yah. Count not thine handmaid for a daughter of Belial. For out of the abundance of my complaint and grief have I spoken hitherto. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and the Elohim of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou hast asked of him. And she said, Let thine handmaid find favor in thy sight. So the woman went her way and did eat, and her countenance was no more sad. And they rose up in the morning early and worshipped before Yah, and returned, and came to their house to Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and Yah remembered her.
And Elohim remembered her. Go ahead.
Wherefore it came to pass, when the time was come about after Hannah had conceived, that she bare a son, and called his name Samuel, saying, Because I have asked him of Yah.
No, because I took him from the devil.
Because I have asked him of Yah.
I went into the spiritual realm, I went under the sea. I fought with marine spirits, and then I took the womb they stole, and I took a son.
I have asked him of Yah.
Go ahead.
And the man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer unto Yah the yearly sacrifice and his vow. But Hannah went not up, for she said unto her husband, I will not go up until the child be weaned, and then I will bring him, that he may appear before Yah, and there abide forever. And Elkanah her husband said unto her, Do what seemeth good. Tarry until thou have weaned him. Only Yah establish his word.
Are you, people, this is so incredible. Are you seeing the way these people were living their lives? That is why even up until today, sometimes I look at the Muslims and I admire them. everything that happens to them, they always say, Inshallah, Mashallah. They're like, hey, brother, sometimes you tell them, thanks for the food, Inshallah. They want to go somewhere, Inshallah. Brother, thank you so much, Inshallah. So they don't ascribe good or bad to anything but Allah. But look at Christians. Look at how we live. When things go bad, look at how wicked we become. So our prayer topics, it's more about the devil than it is about Elohim. And in the way we behave, actually, we ignore the power of Yah. Because all our emphasis is always, someone must be doing me. Hey, no man. Too much evil eyes. Too much haters. Too much this. My auntie hates me. My mother hates me. You are a daughter. You are 38. You are not married. And in your mind, the culprit is your own mama. Yeah, you see, I'm not married because my mother always spoke negatively. But look at these people. When Hannah said, when I finish the vow, I must return Samuel to Elohim, Elkanah was like,
do what seems good to thee.
Look at the mindset. Look at the mindset of these people. Continue reading.
Tarry until thou have weaned him. Only Yah established his word. So the woman abode and gave her son suck until she weaned him. Verse 24. And when she had weaned him, she took him up with her with 3 bullocks and 1 ephah of flour and a bottle of wine, and brought him unto the house of Yah in Shiloh. And the child was young. And they slew a bullock and brought the child to Eli. And she said, O my master, as thy soul liveth, my master, I am the woman that stood by thee here praying unto Yah. For this child I prayed, and Yah has given me my petition which I asked of him. Therefore also I have lent him unto Yah. As long as he lived, so shall he be lent unto Yah. And he worshipped Yah there.
There are so many points of inference. There are so many things I can say, but it will be a different topic. But just try to look at their behavior, and all of us will be put to shame. Mothers, they would make vows to Elohim. Fathers, they would make vows to Elohim. And then when their child is born, look at how they will raise their child. They would raise their child to be a playboy. They would raise their child to be Sean Paul. They would raise their child to be Soccer Didier Drogba. They would raise, the first thing you do when your child is born, you put earrings in her ear or in his ear. You let him grow crazy rasta up until his knees. You buy Louis Vuitton, everything for that child. But the ways of Yah, you're like, no, the child is too young. No, the child is too young. Whilst you ought to raise that child, understanding Elohim lent me this child, so I have to make sure that once Elohim comes back, I can say, I raised this child in such a manner that he will not forget you. And this is the condition in which Samuel was born. So next slide, please. There we see the man, Samuel. Origin Hebrew, meaning
Elohim has heard,
or
asked of Elohim. And it contains the Hebrew elements Shema, to hear, and El, which means God or Elohim.
Why? Because she asked of Elohim. And Elohim listened. So Samuel is like Ishmael. Why? Because Hagar cried, or the baby cried, and Elohim heard. So Ishmael and Samuel have the same root. Because Elohim heard the prayer of Hannah. But if she was there to bind demons and wizards, Elohim would not hear. So we are continuing. Next slide.
1 Samuel chapter 2 from 12.
Now the sons
Of Eli were sons of Belial.
they knew not,
Yah,
But Samuel 26.
And the child Samuel grew on and was in favor both with Yah and also with men.
Go ahead.
Verse 27. And there came a man of Elohim unto Eli and said unto him, Thus saith Yah, that I plainly appear unto the house of thy father when they were in Egypt in Pharaoh's house, and that I choose him out of all the tribes of Israel to be my priest, to offer upon my altar, to burn incense, to wear an ephod before me, and that I give unto the house of thy father all the offerings made by fire unto the children of Israel. Wherefore kick ye at my sacrifice and at my offerings, which I have commanded in my habitation, and honor thy sons above me.
So that was the problem when it comes to picking shepherds according to the heart of Elohim. What you have to understand is, just because you are called doesn't necessarily mean that your sons are the next in line. So every ministry you see where Papa is the bishop, son is the apostle, grandson is the evangelist, just know that that is a very suspect business. It's mafia. It's mafia. You even have preachers now, they are planning. Hey, how old is my son? Why? Because he has to take over. And when they see that the son is occupied with something else, they are planning and looking after their grandchild. Hey, how old is my grandchild? Why? Because if my son delays, my grandchild can take over. So I'm like, what an audacity. So you are planning for Elohim. How often have you read that any of the prophets had a successor and the successor was their flesh and blood? It didn't happen. Look at the sons of Moses. They failed. They failed. Look at the sons of Aaron. Many of them failed. Look at the sons of David. No succession. Is there any mention of the sons of Isaiah? What about Jeremiah? Is there a mention of the sons of Ezekiel? Even the very sons of this Samuel, the chosen of Elohim, his sons disappointed him and failed. But Eli was there. Oh, I have to train up my sons. So Elohim told him, who told you that the sacrifice belongs to you and your seed? But look at the way ministries are ran nowadays. Everyone wants to secure the bag. Because if my sons take over, the money will still run in the family. That's how they live now. And if the sons fail, what they usually now do is they make sure that the one that takes over is the one that is married to their daughters. So that whatever happens, the money must stay in the family. So Elohim is telling Eli,
wherefore,
why
kick ye at my sacrifice
are
and
you
at my
kicking
offering,
at my sacrifices and my offerings?
which I have commanded in my habitation?
Which I commanded in. Elohim is telling him, it's my house. Don't ever get it twisted. It's my house. The sheep you are keeping flock or you are tending, they are mine. The gold, everything is mine. Go ahead.
And honors thy sons above me, to make yourselves fat with the chiefest of all the offerings of Israel, my people.
Therefore, verse 35.
Verse 35, and I will raise me up a faithful priest.
Because of this, I will raise me up.
A faithful priest.
Not out of your sons. It is Elohim who raises up faithful servants. I will raise me up a faithful priest.
That shall do according to that which is in my heart.
And he will do, meaning he will not think of himself. He will think of me first and then of himself.
He will do according to that which is in my heart and in my mind.
And in my mind.
And I will build him a sure house.
So a shepherd of Yah, who's according to the heart of Yah, when he looks at you, he's not thinking of how can I benefit from this Negro. That is how many live today. They look at you and you are their walking wallet. They know for, hey, actually, I've never been to Israel. Let me plan ahead. I want to go to Israel next year. So I will make a flyer and say, Israel Exposition next year. There are 20 tickets available. And then they will give an amount, but the amount also covers their own ticket. But they will never tell you. So 20 people pay, you also paid for him. You see? Bro, it's business, it's marketing. It's marketing. It's marketing. They look at you like you are their walking wallets. Walking wallets. But a shepherd of Yah, so even the messages that they are preaching, Elohim wants you to be rich. Elohim wants you to be successful. Look at how Elohim dealt with the Messiah. The Elohim care about this, the natural success of the Messiah. The Messiah didn't even have a house to sleep in. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? No, Elohim wants you to be good. He wants you to. Businesses should go well. Your studies should go. All things should go well. That is the ministry that they are preaching. Why? So that the people will have hope. Hope. They sell hope in the church. But it's not practical hope. It's fantasy. It's fantasy. People, this Sunday, all of you, please bring your pin pass. So Shalom Apoka, Brittany, all of you guys, bring your how you call debit card. Bring it to the altar. Bring it to the altar. Then people bring the pin pass to the altar. Spread it down spread it before me. And then you spread all the debit cards before the Son of Man. Then he takes Bertolli oil. Bertolli oil, olive oil. He opens it and then he pours it on your debit card. The debit card it doesn't function anymore. But he pours it on the debit card and then he begins praying. Elohim, we multiply. We multiply. Like the loaves of bread and the fish, we multiply. And then he speaks in tongues for a few minutes. And then all the people are like, yeah, money. And then he tells you guys, soon and very soon, without giving a specific date, soon and very soon, you will see how your finances will change. So I'm like, hey, but this is worse than witchcraft, what I'm seeing here. Soon and very soon, and your finances will change. And then these gullible 16-year-old, 17-year-old children are like, yes! They are so happy. And then, of course, because the message was so good, after he finishes that one, what's the next thing he does? Offering time. And now he's telling you, offer according to your faith. So maybe you had 200 euros in your pocket because he poured Bertolli on your debit card. Now you will give him the 200. But the funny thing is, if he can multiply your money, why not just say, because I also multiplied my own, today I will show you my faith as a pastor, I will give all of you money. Or we will skip the offering. It's funny how when it comes to offering, they always expect you to act out of faith, but they themselves never show any faith. They want the money from you, and then they tell you, go take the money from God. Is that fair? Is that fair, people? This is abnormal behavior, but they do it. They do it. So he said, I will raise up servants. Go ahead.
And I will raise me up a faithful priest in verse 35 that shall do according to that which is in my heart and in my mind. And I will build him a sure house, and he shall walk before my anointed forever.
Jeremiah 3:15.
And I will give you pastors according to my heart.
Go ahead.
Which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
So we are continuing. Listen, Samuel 3:1. So when the child was chosen by Yah, And he began to grow. It says, and the child Samuel ministered
unto Yah before Eli.
And
the word of Yah was precious in those days. There was no open vision.
we was living in a time that we are living in today. Because many people, that is why it is so crazy. It is impossible to be called by Yah and you immediately start ministering to the people. You are missing a step. You must first minister before Yah.
Before Eli.
You must first minister, it says,
Yah.
Unto Yah before Eli. You must first minister unto Yah. The time you are ministering unto Yah is the time when he's pruning you. He's preparing you. After your ministry unto Yah has been accepted, then he will send you to go and minister before the people. But look at how many people are now living. They were in jail some months. They were stressed. And of course, they were eating food that they give to prisoners filled with drugs. So you were drugged. And there's a Bible in every prison. So you were drugged. You were maybe high. You read something. You fell asleep. This is proven. The last thought on your mind, usually you can carry it over in the dream world. So because you were drugged, desperate, and because the body has been trained to avoid pain, that is why you can even dream of your fantasies. The body is simply doing that to ease the stress, because otherwise you will commit suicide. So now you were drugged. You read the Bible in prison, desperate. You fall asleep, and then someone appears in your dream. Hey, my son, go to the nations and proclaim it's the year of liberty. All of a sudden, you become a minister. You get out of jail. You read the Bible quick, sharp, like Shalom, sharp. For 2 or 3 weeks, you start the ministry. Can you imagine the type of damage you will do to the souls of men? Can you imagine? Because you are not even 1 year old in the ministry and you are trying to explain scriptures. And you have 17, 16, 18-year-old gullible people. They come, they flock to your ministry. Why? Because you have power. And what is the power? The dropping of people. You break their necks. You're pushing them. So people are believing you, and then when they ask you a question, look at how you deal with doctrine. I've never heard. Some people, when they preach, I'm like, I have an extreme headache. Because we can connect, so we are trying to connect what they are connecting, and it gives us an error. We will speak about the 4 faces of the beast of apocalypse. And then you listen for like, okay, 5 minutes. Let me listen 10 minutes. And let me listen 15 minutes. You're like, no. This is magic. This is magic. So the child ministered before Yah unto Eli. Go ahead.
And the word of Yah was precious in those days.
And the word of Yah was precious to the people, but not unto Samuel. Because he was ministering, he was seeking Yah. At that time, he was not even thinking, I have to do this for people. All he was doing is, I must make sure the temple is all right. I must make sure that things are in place. And Elohim looked at him. Elohim saw, this guy is faithful in the little things. He's faithful in the little things. Even us, now that we have removed ourselves out of Christianity and are now living according to the faith of the Bible. But you should have looked at us when we were Christians. We were faithful Christians. Every Sunday there, before the people come, we already arrange the chairs. Long after the people are gone, we will also remove the chairs. Sometimes I will go there. The church begins at 1. I'm there at maybe 11. First, you make sure the chairs are all right. After that, the chairs are all right. You are the one who's supposed to lead the prayer before the church begins. You lead that prayer. After that, you are the one that is supposed to lead the prayer when the church has started. You lead that prayer. After that is finished, they tell you, hey, can you do the interpretation? You do the interpretation. After that is finished, when the church is done, you have to remove the chairs. We were used like horses. But nobody cared. Nobody cared. And we did not care because we did it out of passion for Elohim. But these young ones, they get into the ministry. Tell them to do something with it. They'll be like, are you crazy? Do you know how big I am? So look at the traits of this Samuel. Go ahead, read.
And the word of Yah was precious in those days. There was no open vision. Hosea 4 from verse 6.
What does it mean, no open vision? When there is no open vision, that is a punishment that Yah usually gives. When he sees there is rebellion, what he then does is he closes his mouth. So the explanation, Hosea
4 from 6.
My people
are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Because
thou hast rejected knowledge.
He's saying you are destroyed because you do not know. And then he's explaining to them, it's not that my word is too high or too low that you cannot reach there. He said because you have rejected
knowledge, I will also reject thee, and that thou should be no priest to me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy Elohim.
You see what Elohim equates with knowledge? It is his law. He's telling them, I have closed my words for you because you hate my laws. Go ahead.
Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy Elohim, I will also forget thy children.
I will also forget thy children.
And as they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore will I change their glory into shame. They eat up the sin of my people, and they set their heart on their iniquity. And there shall be like people, like priests. And I will punish them for their ways and
there
their
are
reward.
more Christians in this world than any other type of people, apart from atheists maybe. When it comes to the belief system, Christians are number one. And the number one demographics of Christians is usually the Negro. But at the same time, the Negroes are also the poorest people in the whole world. So Christians are laughingstocks. Just look at Christians. And I'm being honest, just look at us black folks. The ones who always go to church. 95% of us are all broke. Do you think that is normal? The Jew has more money than us. The Arab has more money than us. The Buddhist has more money than us. The atheist, just the mention of it, they have more money than us. The Christian is the poorest. Ask yourself, how is this even possible? Why would Elohim do this to his people? Or can it be that he said, I will turn your glory into shame? Look at your parents. Are your parents rich? Every month, sometimes you have to send them 100, 200 euros to pay the bills. But you know they pay their tithes and they go to church and they give offerings. But they are broke. It's not normal. It is not normal. I mean, we're in Europe. And you are still broke in Europe. So that means that if you were in Africa, you would have died 10 times over. You're not in you are in Europe and you are still broke. Why? Look at your man. They're living normal. They go on holidays normal. You cannot even go. But he doesn't even go to church. And all of this, it doesn't tell you anything. You just keep on living life. Afraid to ask the real painful questions. What am I doing? This God I'm calling to, who is he? Why am I like this? these are the painful questions you must ask. But we all live with our heads in the sand. We are not inquisitive about nothing. Your children come to you, yeah, ma, why is fire the color blue? You can't explain. Yeah, ma, why when I turn on the ventilator, why do I always have a snot nose? You are a parent, you can't explain. Yeah, ma, common questions, you can't explain. So, all you do, YouTube, Mabuke, film. I'm like, are you a human being? Everything that helps you understand the world, you don't know. You don't know. And then maybe those are questions about the world. And then when we go inside of the Bible, we ask you questions about the book that you claim is your book. You go to church every Sunday. I'm sorry, sister. What is the doctrine of your church? You don't know. Does your church have any law? Jesus is the law of my church. Jesus is the law of my church. And then it seems so cute. Oh, this person is so deep. It's not deep. It's just lazy. What do you mean? No, he abolished everything at the cross. At my church, it's all about Jesus. You know, when you don't have money, that's why the pastor's like, people, when you're in trouble, just say Jesus. You don't have money, just say Jesus. Your child is Jesus. So, no, but I've seen brainwashings before, but the Christian churches are, even the CIA cannot compare. Cannot compare. There is something wrong. There's something wrong. What do you mean when I'm in pain? Just how? So not go get a band-aid, go to just say Jesus. I digress. Please continue.
Hosea 4 from verse 10. For they shall eat and not have enough.
Go ahead.
They shall commit whoredom and shall not increase.
Go ahead.
Because they have left off to take heed to Yah. Whoredom and wine and new wine take away the heart. My people ask counsel at their stocks, and their staff declares unto them.
No, but Christianity has to stop, man. It's beyond madness. To the point where so there are people, they have the finest clothes in their closet and they only wear to church. So you are a human being. You have suits, 10 suits. You only wear it to church. Outside of church gathering, there is no occasion for you to wear a suit. Why did you buy it? But your fridge is empty. Why did you buy the suit? No, because Jesus. So all these, so it's so crazy. But read.
My people ask counsel at their stocks, and their staff declares unto them. For the spirit of whoredoms has caused them to err, and they have gone a whoring from under their Elohim. They sacrifice upon the tops of the mountain, and burn incense upon the hills, under oaks and poplars and elms, because the shadow thereof is good. Therefore your daughters shall commit whoredom, and your spouses shall commit adultery.
Read.
I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredoms, nor your spouses when they commit adultery. For themselves are separated with whores, and they sacrifice with harlots. Therefore the people that does not understand shall perish.
The people that will, so the lack of an open vision is a punishment that comes from Yah, and it comes to the people that decide to ignore his laws. He will make you crazy to the point where you don't, Jesus, that will be the only thing you're doing. You're not moving forward. You're only moving backward. You're not seeing it. Because as a human being, you ought to get angry sometimes and be like, what is effort? Why is it that everyone can achieve, but I cannot? Why is it that they can do this and I cannot? Am I not a human being? I have brains, I have hands, I have a heart, I have everything that they have. Why can I not prosper? But no one has it. We have become so docile. So docile. Why Elohim has darkened our understanding. Why we have rejected the laws. So continue reading Amos
8:11.
Behold,
the days come, said Yah,
that
I will send a famine in the land.
I will send a famine in the land.
Not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water,
but
of hearing the words of Yah.
And people don't understand that we are living in such times. A famine in the land for the word of Yah does not mean there will be a lack of conferences. No. As for conferences, there are many. Every weekend, there are at least 20 conferences, Bible study conferences in Amsterdam alone. But go and hear, and you will be shocked at what they are teaching there. So Elohim said, I will send a famine, and this will be for the word of Elohim.
And they shall wander from sea to sea.
Look at you. I'm happy now because my parents, and especially my mom, stopped doing these things. And she basically stopped because she's now old. If she was still young and had the resources, she would go. Look at your parents. Which conference have they not attended? People. Look at the young folks now, the young women, the young boys, with their beautiful dresses and their beautiful outfits. Saturday, there is a conference in Rotterdam. Sunday, there's a conference in Den Haag. Wednesday, there's a conference in Rotterdam. Some people can even go to 2 conferences on one day. So ask yourself, what are you looking for? What are you looking for? Do you realize that in Israel, the whole of Israel, there are only 2 temples, and one was rejected by Yah. So there was only 1 temple. But look at all the conferences. You go from left to right. Every conference you go, and every conference the preacher man anoints oil on you. Every conference there's a prophetic word for you. How many of them have promised you riches? You're still poor. How many of them promise you liberty, but you're still bound? How many of them promise you breakthrough, but you've only broken under? And none sits and thinks like, hey, what is effort? I've been going to conferences for 10 years. My life has not really changed. So something must change. None of us thinks like that. The reason why you don't think like that is because Elohim has poured the spirit of sleep upon you. Why? Because when you go to conferences, you only want to go to the conferences where you know that the fleshy prophet will come. When the severe prophet comes and tells you you must change your ways, those are the conferences that you refuse to go to. You see? So Elohim said, this is what you want. I will give it to you. So you are running to and fro, seeking. Go ahead.
Verse 12 from Amos 8. And they shall wander from sea to sea. And
You
from
will
the
wander
north,
from sea to sea.
and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yah, and shall not find it.
How many conferences have we gone through the past years? 0.0. And we haven't missed anything. 0.0. There's a conference I won't even go. I won't go. Because I will know what will happen there. I know what will happen there. I will go high-spirited. I will come back depressed. I will go with money. I will come back broke. I will go with sense. I will come back drugged. So I will not go. But you go, pop, 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 pop. And you're not thinking, you're paying transport, you are giving offering. All of these things you're not seeing. But it is adding to your brokenness. So continue reading because of time.
The next slide. First Samuel 7 from
So
verse
this
2.
one is, because of time, I will have to jump. How long have you enough? Oh! And I told Brit it would take it. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. So this slide, this slide is background history about how the people then rejected, about how the people then basically they rejected Samuel. No, we will read some because it's important. Adike, I want you to read. I will
First
give
Samuel 7 from verse 2.
as little commentary as possible.
And it came to pass while the ark abode in Kiriath Jearim, that the time was long, for it was 20 years, and all the house of Israel lamented after Yah. And Samuel spake unto all the house of Israel, saying, If ye do return unto Yah with all your hearts, then put away the strange Els or Elohim and Ashtaroth from among you.
Do you hear how a shepherd of Elohim speaks? All of them speak like this. If you are of Yah. He says, if.
Ye do return unto Yah.
You see, there is no mentioning of any spirit but Yah. When calamity happens, they will always tell you, people, if only you will go back to Yah.
With all your heart.
With all your heart.
Then put away the strange Elohim.
And put away the idols that you have placed in front of you.
And Ashtaroth from among you. And prepare your hearts unto Yah. And serve him only. And he will deliver you out of the hand of the Philistines.
That is the message. There is no Jackie Chan. There is no Thanos. There is no Iron Man involved. There is no action scene. This is the message. We have went astray from Yah. We must go back. And that is why they don't like it. Because it's always the same and it's boring. But it's the truth. Of course, people will be like, instead of this, they want to hear stories. And tonight, as I was sleeping, the Spirit of God took me up and I went to the moon. And as I went to the moon, I looked down and I saw 3 cockroaches. And one cockroach said to the other cockroach, you must take Susan. And the other cockroach said, why must we take Susan? And the other cockroach said, because Susan has the anointing and the mantle of Elijah. So, people, so this is what they do. This is what they do. This is what they do. And then when I saw it, an angel came to me and gave me a sword. And I told the angel, what? Why do you give me the sword? And the angel said, as you saw 3 cockroaches, you must proclaim 3 days of prayer. And in these 3 days, you will call the conference the time of the sword. And I awoke. So that is why, with immediate effect, this coming Saturday, we will start our 3-day conference called the time of the sword. I decree and declare, you must make sure you bring a sword. And if you don't have a sword, you can buy it on Amazon. It will come in 2 days. Bring a sword. So these are the things that people like to hear. It sounds so good. So when you have this, you can skip Netflix because your pastor, your apostle, he is Iron Man. But if you have a boring man with an ugly voice come before you and he's straightforward, he's like, Elohim said, you did this. He said, repent, otherwise you will die. And then he leaves. You'll be like, no, man. The message was so cold. It's not Elohim. It's not who? Have you not heard? Have you not read the Bible? Listen, when was the first time, or when was the especially, I would advise everyone, just read the book of Ezekiel. Ask Ezekiel, Ezekiel, when you're in the days of your ministry, was Elohim ever positive with you? Ask Isaiah, hey Isaiah, in the days of your ministry, because you are a chosen prophet, was Elohim ever, was he positive with you? Was he positive? Elohim was not positive with none of the prophets. Why? Because every time the voice of Yah came, it was because he was sad. And he would tell them, why are people like this? Why are they disobeying? Tell them to come back, otherwise I have no choice but to destroy. So a prophet is never a sign of a blessing. A prophet is a judge. So Samuel judged Israel. A prophet is not someone that makes you feel good. That's why it is crazy how, especially nowadays, these young ladies, they are so eager to go and see the prophet. You say you are a prophet, and young ladies flock to you, and they love you. How many young ladies flock to Isaiah? How many young ladies flocked to Samuel? They even said he was horrible in appearance, with a long beard, rasta. He did not even bath. No time. If you would take the prophets of those days in our time, you would call all of them madmen. Because all of them, they sit like this, and they speak to themselves. Then they walk left, they walk right. They're out of this world. And every time they speak, it's frightening. And it's not frightening because they speak of witches. It's frightening because they speak from Elohim. And he will always expose mistakes. So continue reading.
1 Samuel 7 from verse 4. Then the children of Israel did put away Baalim and Ashtaroth and served Yah only.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Samuel judged Israel all the days of his life. And he went from year to year in circuit to Bethel and Gilgal and Mizpeh and judged Israel in all those places.
And he judged Israel in all those places. And now chapter 8 verse 1.
And it came to pass when Samuel was old that he made his sons judges over Israel.
He made his, you see, he made his sons. He made his sons judges over Israel. Go ahead.
Now the name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second Abiah. They were judges in Beersheba. And his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after lucre and took bribes and perverted judgment.
You see, and they turned aside after lucre, and they took bribes, and they perverted judgment. But these were the sons of the chosen of Yah. Go ahead.
Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel unto Ramah, and said unto him, Behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations. But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, Give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed unto Yah. And Yah said unto Samuel, Hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee.
Listen, this is important. And then Elohim said to Samuel, Listen to the people and everything they told you.
For they have not rejected thee.
For they have not rejected thee.
But they have rejected me.
And that is one of the privileges and one of the implications when you are someone that is chosen by Yah. Elohim will make you a model for all the people to model after. So your word in their lives, it will become a law. Why would Elohim give so much power to his servant? It is because Elohim will not deal with all of them directly. You will be the intermediary between Elohim and the people. And because Elohim will already have trained you and will have proved that you will think of Elohim's interests first when serving the people, Elohim will then be able to give you this power over the people. Why? Because you ought to be a righteous judge. So then, when people follow you, they are immediately following Elohim. And when people reject you and you are chosen by Yah, their communication with Yah is disconnected because they have rejected you. But the reverse side of this is, that is also why you see why many of our people now have gone astray. Because ministers today have this power, but they are not proven by Yah. So therefore now, they are using their power of influence over the people. But unfortunately, they're not doing it for the benefit of Yah. They are doing it for their own benefit. This is something that you ought to ponder about and really think of. Ask yourself, under who am I? And is my soul secured under that person? Don't let anyone tell you, yeah, it's only about you and Jesus. People, please. If it was only about you and Jesus, why do you still go to the church then? Why don't you stay at your own house? Why do you still pay tithe and offering to your pastor then? It means even you have a little bit of a common sense to understand that someone is leading you. So because of time, continue reading. Duty of a chosen servant. I think in 15 minutes we'll be done.
15.
15. Duty of a chosen servant of Elohim.
Jeremiah 3 from verse 15.
Listen, and I will give you.
And I will give you pastors according to my heart,
Which shall.
which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
So a pastor according to the heart of Elohim, his task is to feed you not with money, food, and all these type of things. He will feed you with knowledge
And understanding.
and understanding. Go ahead. Malachi.
2 from 7.
For the priest his lips,
Should keep knowledge.
and they should seek.
the law at his mouth.
This is the second time where the words knowledge and law are interchangeable. He says, for the people ought to seek the law at his mouth. What law are you getting from your church? Because everything Elohim does, it is governed by laws. And Elohim said it is the duty of the priest to always be knowledgeable. And people ought to go to him and ask, I read this. I didn't understand. What does this mean? I have this type of money. I don't know what to do with the money. Where can I invest it in? Me and my wife are going through this. What does Elohim say? I'm going through this. How ought I to behave? The people ought to seek the law
At his mouth.
at the mouth of the priest.
For he is the messenger of Yah.
For he is the angel, physical one, of Yah unto you. So 2 Peter.
3 from verse 18.
But grow
In favor
and
in knowledge
of
of our Master and Savior Yahushua the Messiah.
Ephesians 4:11.
And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of the Messiah, till we all come in the unity of the faith,
And
of the knowledge of the Son of Yah, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of the Messiah.
John 8:31.
Then said Yahushua to those Hebrews which believe on him, If ye continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed.
And ye shall know.
The truth, and the truth shall make you free.
So do you see all these verses? The thing that is always emphasized is you must have knowledge. You must have knowledge. And the knowledge that Elohim is speaking of, he's referring to his laws. Because in another verse, it says, thy words are able to make one wise. So you see, this belief we have in Elohim is not a belief that is predicated on how you feel. But unfortunately, in most churches, the messages are predicated on how people feel, instead of the messages to be predicated on what has Elohim says concerning as to what is allowed and not allowed. This belief in Elohim, it should be a belief based on knowledge. Yeah. So when someone asks you, brother, are you in the faith? You should be able to say yes or no. This is a question that I asked. I think it was during the Monday class years ago at the Huigon Bos. I said, how do you know whether you are in the faith or not? Because the Bible says faith is a substance unseen, things that is hoped for. So how can you know whether you are in the faith? And then at the end of my message, I said, you can answer that question by telling yourself, am I keeping the laws of Elohim, yes or no? It is that simple. If you do not keep the laws of Elohim, you are not in the faith. If you are keeping the laws of Elohim, you are in the faith. Because the faith is predicated on your hope and belief that Elohim is your father and that he will keep you, and you are proving that to him by you abiding and subjecting yourself to his word. It's like when someone tells you, I will come and pick you up at 3 a.m. at Central Station. The condition, however, is that you are at Central Station at 3 a.m. If you are at home at 3 a.m. and you say, I have faith that he will come and pick me up, you are mad. Because he will come, as he promised, at Central Station at 3. So when he comes, you are not there. It's not that he lied, it's you did not keep your end of the bargain. It's the same as with Yah. He says he will save us. He says he will come. He will restore the kingdom. But he said you must abide by my rules. And where you are weak, let me know. But the church is no more predicated on knowledge. It is all predicated on how you feel, But every servant of Elohim, his duty is to show you what the laws are. His duty is to show you what the knowledge is that you must possess before you can come into the kingdom of Elohim. So we are jumping now, warning to the shepherds. I think 2 more slides and then we're done.
Micah chapter 3 from 1.
Listen.
And I said,
Hear,
I pray you,
O
heads of Jacob,
Elohim is now speaking to all the heads of Jacob.
and ye princes of the house of Israel.
And all ye princes of the house of Israel.
Is it not for you to know judgment?
You see? Look at how Elohim puts emphasis. If truly you are the servant of Elohim, you ought to know judgment. Go ahead.
Who hate the good and love the evil.
But unfortunately, you hate the good and love the evil.
Who pluck off their skin from off them.
You pluck off the skin of the people from off them.
And their flesh from off their bones.
And their flesh from off their bone. Do you know how they do it today? There are sons of men that nowadays they proclaim, we will go on a 21-day fast. And they not even consult you, are you able? They will tell you, I have been directed by the Lord. And you will go on a 21-day fast. And now you are sitting there in the church and you're like, hey, this is a commandment coming from the Lord. So now you look to your left and you look to your right and everyone has agreed. So now you're sitting there like, hey, for a 21 days fast, man. And then many will not even do it. They will eat at home, stick them. And they will come to the church and they will act as if they are fasting. And some will faithfully do it and develop these sicknesses, ulcer and stuff. Why? Because their son of man is so wicked, he told the whole church, we will go on a 40-day fast. And you don't understand what a mistreatment. This is a mishandling. You are killing people. So Elohim said they pluck off the skin.
And the flesh from off their bones. Who also eat the flesh of my people.
Who also eat the flesh. Yeah, because at our ministry, it is a fasting ministry. How many times did the Messiah fast, for your information? You read him fasting once. And then you don't hear him fasting anymore. But there are people, they fast more than God. They fast more than the angels who don't even eat or drink. So these ministries, they always make you fast. People, this is mistreatment. What have you done that you have to fast every day? And for your information, fasting does not even break that sin. It's not that simple. So continue reading.
Micah 3 verse 3, who also eat the flesh of my people and flay their skin from off them, and they break their bones and chop them in pieces.
And they break their bones and chop them in pieces. It was it not last week when we watched this movie on YouTube, how some sons of men, how they forcefully break your neck during church? When they come and they slap you on your, you guys saw that prophet. He was beating his church members with a stick. And then the commentary was like, don't try this at home. If you have questions, ask Elijah. If you want to know, ask Moses. So, oh! Nay. But these are things that are happening. So they know it is mad. So the commentary is like, don't try to understand. If you have questions, ask Elijah. They know Elijah is not there to answer. So all they're telling you is just be quiet and observe. A prophet came, took a stick and started beating a woman. And he was saying it is deliverance. Other people, they will take their hand and they will forcefully push you back and then say it is the power of God. That's what Elohim is saying. They break your bones. They are mistreating you during their services. Some pastors can come, they take Bertoli and they tell you drink the whole liter. People, come on. Why would Elohim be so wicked? Even the fetish priest is not so wicked. But some directions that they are giving in some churches, it is so sad. It's so sad. So continue reading.
Verse 5, Thus saith Yah concerning the prophets that make my people err, that bite with their teeth and cry.
Listen, these prophets that confuse my people, they bite with their teeth and they cry.
Peace.
They're shouting and they'll be like peace. And they make promises and they'll be like peace. But read.
And he that puts not into their mouth.
Listen. And the one that does not give them money.
They even prepare war against him.
Is this not happening in the church? Is this not happening in the church? They are so peaceful to the ones that always pay on time. You give them offering, you give your tithe, you are the best believer in the church. They speak well of you. Look at how the pastor will be calling you every week. You have a very good relationship. But when they see you are delaying, you never pay tithe, you never give offering, what they will do is they will prepare war against you. How do they prepare war? They come up with a message, and it's all about you. Some people, yeah, they are so selfish. They buy cars for themselves. They always look so nice. But look at the state of the church. The church is going through difficulties. How can you be so selfish? Some people, they don't even think about God, but they come here and they expect us to pray. But so they are shooting shots. Shots. Why? Because you did not pay. So they are preparing messages about how people went to hell when they did not pay tithes and offering. And then they quote Malachi, ought your houses to be filled, whilst the house of Elohim is empty. And they prepare all types of messages because you don't pay. And they know that because of you, they now have a mortgage. They have to pay their car. They have to pay their bills. They have to pay their ticket that they're going to Africa with your money. So they already have an Excel spreadsheet of all the expenses, and they know how much will come into the church. And they know if you stop paying, they will not be able to live their comfortable lives because they are making their money off of you. So they prepare messages and they prepare war messages, terrifying you. That if you don't pay, Elohim will punish you. But at the same time, it is the same pastor who then turns around and says, we are no more under the law. And all these circuits, this concert, Michael Jackson, it is happening in your church and you are sitting there like a zombie. Not even thinking like, hey, maar wacht eens even. Something here is not right. You see? So the people going in and out, they are the walking dead. It is so sad how the preacher men, they are manipulating you. This is the all night of warfare. And then you see the slide. The witch must die. That is the conference. It's a 3 days of lightning and fire.
Judgmental fire.
You see? And the topic is the witch must die. So the topic is not the sin in us must die. The topic is not seek the righteousness of Elohim. The topic is not we must break the chains of fornication. No. The topic is there is a witch somewhere that is ruining your life, and now Elohim has made us spiritual assassins. We must kill the witch. Not knowing that if you kill the witch, you have killed a living person. But this is all that is happening in the church. Because if you have a day of conference and you write down, we will have a conference where we will talk about how to live a holy life, no one will come. Especially these young boys and girls, no one will come. Especially these old women, they don't have time to think about righteousness. But if you have a conference called the witch in your life must be killed, all of them will come. Because your mother is at home. She's looking at her life. She knows she's miserable. She knows she's poor. She knows she's unhappy, unsatisfied. All of that she knows. And according to her, because she has watched so many Mabokes and Nigerian movies, according to her, the cause of her problem is not that she has a problem with Elohim from a relationship perspective. Her reasoning is somewhere in a village, in my hometown or village, there is a woman that hates me because I came to Europe. And that is the mindset. That is why my husband doesn't love me. That is why my children are rebellious. Because a witch is so powerful that she has decided to destroy my life. But at the same time, you claim that you believe in God. So if you are believing in God and you have a good relationship with that God, why isn't that God protecting you? Isn't it? Is what I'm saying. Is it so difficult, or is it just common sense? Because you say your God is the most powerful. You say your God is the God of fire. So why is he not building a circle of fire around you and all your belongings like he did to Job? These things no one reasons and thinks about. So continue reading.
Micah 3 verse
5 minutes, then we're done.
So thus saith Yah concerning the prophets that make my people err, that bite with their teeth and cry peace, and he that puts not into their mouths, they even prepare war against him. But truly I am full of power by the Spirit of Yah, and of judgment, and of might, to declare unto Jacob his transgression, and to Israel his sin.
Go ahead.
Hear this, I pray you, ye heads of the house of Jacob, and princes of the house of Israel, that abhor judgment and pervert all equity. They build up Zion with blood, and Jerusalem with iniquity. The heads thereof judge for reward.
The heads thereof they judge for
reward.
Warning one was the forgetting of the laws, making people always think about witches and stuff. The second one is how the prophets or the servants, they only judge and prophesy for money. So you are a minister. That is why it is so crazy. All of them have stopped their jobs. None of these young so-called ministers works. All of them say they have a 24/7 full-time ministry. But it already makes you a suspect. Because what is your source of income? I cannot trust you to speak the truth to me with regards to the words of Elohim if I am the one paying you. It makes no sense. If I pay you, you will do your utmost best to satisfy me. Therefore, if you preach a message that I hate and I decide to not come to the church, you are risking income. So what will you do? You will compromise your message. You only preach few good messages because you prophesy for reward. That is why to all the ministers, you are putting yourself in danger if you claim that you are in full-time ministry. Because even if you don't want to, at the end of the day, you will become a criminal. Especially if you are married and you have children. And I don't even blame you, but at the same time, I blame you. Because your wife needs money, your children need money, you don't work, all you have is the church. What do you think you will do? Without you even thinking, at the end of the month, you will always look, how many offerings do we have? How many tithes do we have? Because you have to pay the bills. So if you are in that situation, I can't trust you because you are compromised. There are some people, when they started the ministry, they had a low state. Now that they have become pastors, they are rich. Or not even rich, but life has excelled. So now they are rich and they are living in fancy homes. But how did you get that money? And they say Elohim bless them. No, you got that money at the back of the people that came to you to seek Elohim. So I think this is the last slide and then we're done. Look at this slide. I think read the comment made by that son of man.
So the comment says, God will judge
Listen.
rich church members who allow their pastors to be poor.
Listen. Read the comment again.
God will judge rich church members who allow their pastors to be poor.
Can you believe that statement? Is this not manipulation? And this is a big pastor. And he literally said, Elohim will judge rich church members who allow. So now it's no more God that allows. Now it is the rich members who allow the pastor to be poor. And what about the pastors that are rich and that have poor members? So if you ought to turn this around, will Elohim also judge pastors that are rich and that have poor members in the church? Because in many churches, the people that come, they are poor and the pastors are rich. So why would Elohim judge the members that are rich, that allow the pastor to be poor, but Elohim allows the pastors to be rich whilst they have poor members? This is manipulation. So continue reading Ezekiel
34 from verse 2. Son of man, prophesy against the shepherds of Israel.
It's right there. Hey, go ahead.
Prophesy and
2
say
minutes,
unto
then we're
them,
done.
Thus saith the sovereign Yah unto the shepherds, woe be to the shepherds of Israel that do feed themselves.
They feed who?
They feed themselves.
They feed who?
They feed themselves. Should not the shepherds feed the flock?
You see? Have your pastor ever given you money? Has your pastor ever given you money? You know what they say? We give you spiritual things. How dare you ask me money? Do you know what I do for you in the night? Hey, they were people. We have some sneaky people. How dare you? Where were you when I was fasting for you? You were fasting for who? When I was interceding for you, I stood in the gap like this. And now, when you have to pay your tithe, you want to give me a big mouth. Manipulation. Manipulation. Especially the ones who they were skinny and now they have become fat. Don't talk to me about fasting, please. Don't talk to me about fasting. So you are the only magical being who can fast and become skinny and become fat at the same time. So to you, not eating equals fat. Whilst us, when we eat, we become fat. When we fast, we drop some. So he's saying those who feed themselves.
Should not the shepherds feed the flocks? Ye eat the fat, and ye clothe you with the wool. Ye kill them that are fat, but ye feed not the flock. The diseased have ye not strengthened, neither have ye healed that which was sick, neither have ye bound up that which was broken, neither have ye brought again that which was driven away, neither have ye sought that which was lost, but with force and with cruelty have ye ruled them.
Is it not cruel? You have sons of men, they will tell you, they will give you a charge. For the coming 3 months, you must wake up every night at 3 to pray. Because demons are hunting you. Every day at midnight, you have to wake up and pray for 1 solid hour. And only speak in tongues. People, these are directions they are giving you. And you don't see it, but this is mental abuse. Every church service, the topic is witchcraft. The topic is fear. The topic is someone. This is mental abuse. I can't even remember when was the last time I prayed against a witch. Because from the moment that this was revealed unto us, we don't even mention witches in our prayers because it makes no sense. What witch is bewitching who? Who? We have not bound any witch, nothing, but look at our lives. Come and see. Without binding anyone. Every time we come before Elohim, we humble ourselves, we say, Elohim, forgive us for any sin that is found within us. Give us a righteous heart and a righteous life and help us to do your will. If we have done something against you that is causing some setbacks in our life, we pray, please have compassion, forgive us, and remove your hand. So when we are going through difficulties, we say, Elohim, have we wronged you somewhere? If so, forgive us and remove the curse from us. Negative things in our lives, we associate it with a curse coming from Elohim. No witch, no demon. Continue reading.
Verse 35 of Ezekiel. Ezekiel 34 verse 5. And they were scattered because there is no shepherd. And they became meat to all the beasts of the field when they were scattered. My sheep wander through all the mountains and upon every high hill.
It's so sad. This is what is happening, but people don't see it. I look at my mother. She's a wandering sheep. You look at it, you look at your brothers, your sisters. Are they not wandering sheep? No direction. They are just wandering to and fro because there is no shepherd. And the ones that is leading them, look at what he's doing to them. He makes them pay tithe and offerings, buy expensive oils, go and buy a sword. Don't sleep in the night. You have to fast 21 days. You have to go through fastings and prayers. You have to have all night, war night. People are suffering. And after they finish their war night, they have to go to their work. Their work starts at 7. They go to work. After work, 4. They have Bible study at 6. They come home at 10. They eat in the night. And then when they eat in the night at 10, they sleep until midnight. They wake up. Why? Because they have to pray and fight against witches. And then the next day, they have to go to work again at 6. And after they have their hard-earned money, they give tithe and offering. But at the same time, that pastor doesn't work. Ask yourself, is this normal what is happening? He says he's in full-time ministry, he doesn't work. But at the same time, you pray as much as him. And you work. And you give him money. Is this fair? And this is what Elohim is saying. Read.
Ezekiel 34 verse 6. My sheep wander through all the mountains and upon every high hill. Yea, my flock was scattered upon the face of the earth, and none did search or seek after them. I will feed my flock.
Listen at what he says. Now I will feed my flock,
and I will cause them to lie down.
and I will cause them to lie down,
Saith Yah.
said Yah.
And I will seek that which was lost.
And I will seek that which was lost,
and bring again that which was driven away.
and bring them back.
And will bind up that which was broken.
And I will bind up that which was broken.
And will strengthen that which was sick. But I will destroy the fat and the strong.
Listen.
I will feed them with judgment.
You see? Elohim said he will feed his people with judgment. Where these preachers make you afraid with regards to witches and wizards, the true servants of Elohim, they will tell you about the severity of the punishments of Elohim if you break his laws. So the only time they are severe has to come with the laws of Elohim. And all the other times they are meek and humble. So finish up.
Revelations 2 from 20.
So money is a warning. These doctrines of witches and wizards is a warning. And then the final one has to do with women. Go ahead.
Notwithstanding, I have a few things against thee,
That
because thou suffered that woman Jezebel, which calls herself a prophetess, to teach and to seduce my servants, to commit fornication and to eat things sacrificed unto idols.
final slide, Randy. So people, that was the topic of today. I'm sorry for the time, but there was more than I thought, because this is something that's really is important for the people to listen to. Because these three things that we identified, money, it will be the downfall of many shepherds. Because of money, they will compromise their message. The second is maybe you don't love money, but you are so over spiritual that you always talk about witches and wizards and demons. That is also an error, and it is not biblical. And then the last one is women. If you are able to escape these three things, then you will be able to serve Elohim. But if one of these things are found in your life or your ministry, ask yourself, are you a Samuel or are you a son of Belial? So may Elohim keep us, and up until the next time, Shalom.
Thank you very much once again, Minister, for the message that was just shared. This was the kickoff of the theme, Pastors According to Our Own Heart, and we discussed the topic of the prophet Samuel. Next week, we'll continue with part 2, and then we will zoom in on Zadok, who was also a priest, and we also have a interesting table talk to commence that show, and the word of wisdom. We would like to know what you guys thought of today's topic. Let us know in the comment section, and also just send us private messages if you have some questions or extra additions. Know that you can revisit this and older messages on our SoundCloud and also on our YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. This was the Hour of Restoration, restoring broken walls.
Baba, Baba, how I love you so. Baba, Baba, how I love you so. Baba, Baba, how I love you so.